Welcome back to the LCS Academy here, powered by Verizon. I'm Mazel, joined by Joshi and Rafa, yet again after a hashtag bang. That's all I'm going to say. I spammed in the chats. I'm going to be calm about it because we'll have time to pop off about it after a little bit because we have a halftime show to get to, and then we'll talk about the banger that we just saw. It is halftime show for Evil Geniuses and TSM, and fitting that we have Rafa on here. I wanted to bring back Duos Lingo, especially since we get to see how good your guys' synergy is, because I've heard it's legendary, right? I mean, I've seen the problems that, Joshi, you have had with Desrex. I would expect a lot better here. So,
that's a cheap shot. Desrex is not here to defend himself. Come on, man.
He'll get the ad on Twitter later, or the talk later afterwards, whoever knows. But in here in the Duos Lingo, we will be talking about the first game of the series. Now, you guys are going to have to come up with your first word that comes to mind when you're thinking of that first game of the series itself. You're trying to come up with the same word. You're trying to be on the same wavelength here. Now, if you don't come up with the same word on the first go, we'll take both words that you did say, and we'll try to tie those together. Hopefully, you guys are on the same wavelength at that point. But if not, we'll just keep going until at some point I got to cut you off, or you guys are on point. We'll see what happens, though. All right, so you guys ready?
Are we ready?
Yeah.
You've gotten some time to think about it. All right,
On
what are
three?
your first words?
1, 2, 3,
Banger. Yeah!
I like it. So now we just get to spend 10 minutes talking about that game, right? we don't need to play this anymore.
Well, all right, hold on. I do need to go make a tweet. Sorry, one sec.
Need to make a tweet right now because you lost the bet.
Rafa Cass.
So what is this bet? It was just the fact that you have to tell him.
Is way more attractive than I am.
Yeah.
Hashtag. Surly.
Let's go.
That's it.
There you go.
All right.
You know, it's so funny about that bet because it was just who has more kills, not who wins the game, right? And so Surdy had more kills, just lost the game.
Takeover only had 2.
Dude, Surdy
No,
was
man.
so close, man. But
that turnaround. Oh my god. All right. Well, we're not going to play Duos Lingo because apparently the legendary synergy I heard of is apparently alive and well. Because you guys got on the first game. It's pretty obvious when we get a game like that, because that game was, as you had stated at the end, pretty darn good. And I think we got to talk a little bit more about that. Let's just break it down from the beginning, because it was a very long game to start off the series itself. And I want to talk about the ebbs and flows we saw from both teams early on, Joshi.
Yeah, it started off looking exceptionally good from Evil Geniuses, right? Well, yeah, it started out at level 1 when Tactical and me are just like, it's time to fight. And they just go directly in for that. But so Ligo spent so much time in the bottom lane. He and Tomio seemed to have a very clear plan for the first several minutes of the game. And they created this really big lead for Carry and Smoothie. But that's when we often see Evil Geniuses kind of have some of these issues, right? While they've done a good job coming up with these early game plans, in the mid game, they don't always necessarily know what they're going to be doing next. And that was the huge difference maker I felt this game was. TSM, it felt like even though they weren't always trying, or they weren't always successful in their plans, they were always trying to create pressure.
Yeah, and we actually get to see some of the plays, especially the early shenanigans. I guess if Magic will hear shenaniganeries that we got to see Rafa, but getting to walk through some of these plays will help break some of that craziness down. Because, as we said, it was a long game.
Yeah, and I think with a long game like this, I want to zoom back out and remember that this game doesn't really mean much in terms of, like, end result, right? I mean, it might change up the standings a little bit if TSM were to like win the next 3 games overall and Evil Geniuses lost all 3 games, because then there might be like a tie for the standings. Like, I don't remember the numbers specifically, but at the end of the day, I want to look at what did certain individuals do for TSM and what did certain EG individuals do that is like, okay, you know what, this is promising as we get ready into Proving Grounds. And so I think the big takeaway when we were looking at the Evil Geniuses composition, and that Josh flagged early on, is that this composition doesn't really have strong engage. Yeah. So like, how are you supposed to start fights against TSM when they're the first ones to the objective pit? You just run at them. You run at them and you flash a pillar and hope that that works, right? And a lot of the times, Evil Geniuses ran into problems where if they didn't burn enough like cooldowns or resources from TSM, even if they got back into the pit, they didn't have ways to stop TSM from being able to get back in. And so, you know, if Evil Geniuses just wanted to test the composition where it's like, okay, can we get insanely ahead through the bottom side of the map and just use that leverage so that even if they come into us, we're so strong that we just beat them in every scrap check? And the answer to that question was no. TSM were kind of keeping even for most of the game.
Yeah, it's why when we look at these like scaling compositions, even though I really like the scaling coming through from Evil Geniuses, one of the things I always talk about is how much agency you have. How many relevant decisions do you get to make, right? And Zeri is a character that's inherently kind of low agency. You don't really have a whole lot of choice over who you're hitting. You're just like, oh, whichever one is closest to me as I kite backwards, right? Rise has a little bit more in that you can choose who to like lock down with your route because it is point and click. But in general, you're also just hitting whoever happens to be closest. And it means that the team who has the choice as to what targets they're going to hit, the team that has the Silas, the Wukong, the Gnar, and the Rakan, they can select their target, and they can, if they're playing well, cycle out which player is closer to you. And so it becomes a situation where TSM, you know, even though their composition doesn't scale as well, they do have a bit more agency. They have more outplay potential, and they exercised it when it really mattered.
Man, the thing I got to talk about, though, it's got to be the end of the game. Like, I want to do one last look back before we look forward, especially look at like what we're looking to see out of a chaotic game number 2 that maybe doesn't mean much in standings, but at this point means so much in my heart. I just want to see like what is the breakdown of that kind of situation, Joshi. I mean, it's absolute chaos. They were so close to finishing the game, and then just like that, snap of a finger, TSM turn it around.
I guarantee if we go back and look at it in slow-mo and look at every individual decision, Evil Geniuses can win there if they play it perfectly. But League of Legends is not played by perfect players. We're not robots. We're not a hive mind. And so as soon as you see Surdy in a position where he cannot re-enter the fight, he's too slow to keep up with the dive that's coming through from TSM, he immediately makes the call to start hitting the Nexus. So Ligo, I think, takes a brief moment where he's not sure which side of the fight he's supposed to go to, and that split second of hesitation can end up losing them the game. Do I blame Sligo for that? Not in the slightest, right? That's a situation where your instinct has to be exactly on par with the rest of your team, and we've already identified Evil Geniuses as a team that has struggled to build synergy throughout this season, and with that in mind, I actually am really worried that their mental will not be able to survive into the next game.
That is a tough conversation to have, especially I just want to check in on the Dark Knight. How do we feel about Anda in a crazy game number 1, Rafa? How do you feel?
He was present.
Is he protecting the city? Is he?
You know, I think Anda, you know, felt like a passenger in the first part of the game, but then there's moments where he was like, okay, I need to force ways to leverage the advantage that we have with Soul right now. And there's a couple times it was overextended, but you know, the good thing for Anda is that Anda never really like made an extreme error. Even in the mid game, he's the first one that has to face check and make the engage play for TSM. And TSM as a whole, multiple times where Evil Geniuses got an advantageous pick off, they stalled it out, or they, you know, played and pulled Evil Geniuses around long enough that either Anda came back or they, I don't know, got a Baron steal. So like,
no way. But that doesn't ever happen. What are you talking about? It wasn't. It was actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was a very clutch game from TSM, right? It was actually, if you examine how they played the macro game, I would argue that Evil Geniuses did a much better job than TSM did this game, right? Their ability to make plans, while we said it wasn't necessarily always getting them proactive advantages, they were able to punish a lot of TSM's attempts to get pressure, right? Anda got caught out a couple of times. Mia was trying to make these plays happen, and he got isolated, and they ended up dying. It's part of why I said, you know, they were present. They had some good moments. They had some moments that weren't as good. But TSM, take over, clutch Baron steal. That keeps them in the game and prevents Evil Geniuses from ending. We saw that at the very end, Tactical, very clutch Gale Force forward in order to get himself into the game. Soul having a clutch opportunity to jump forward and allow Tactical to do all these things. So it was very clutch from TSM. The challenge to them is, can we not have to force ourselves to be clutch next time?
the clutch factor. I mean, hey, we've known Takeover to be pretty clutch factor, but again, not relying on that, needing some of that consistency. Also, the top lane. I got it, Joshi. Are you okay to talk about the top lane? Are you?
I
Is it gonna be
I
okay
hate the
if
top
I
lane.
continue
Least-
to talk about this? Or are you gonna freak out? Are you gonna
Top lane
freak out?
doesn't matter. Top lane doesn't matter.
You don't think we're gonna see the Gnar into some crazy pick again? No.
Look,
No.
okay. We will, and we will continue to see it throughout Academy and LCS and the rest of the world. Teams will continue picking bad champions into Gnar. It's going to happen. That's okay.
What is the solution? Is there a
The solution to Gnar?
Yeah.
Actually, tanks do quite well into Gnar, even though the matchup isn't fun.
Mm.
Also, again, the key is you need to play champions that can get onto Gnar and ideally get behind him twice, right? Fiora can't do that. Fiora gets knocked away once, and even though the lunge is on a fairly short cooldown, the point is it's not fast enough to do it a second time, and Gnar can build up enough speed with the hyper procs in order to kite you out, especially once you have a Trinity Force or a Wit's End. There's no way to keep up with him on most of these champions, and so the Fiora is an answer to Gnar, but not because of the lane. You should expect to be coming out a little bit behind.
But you know, hey, results-based analysis, they were like this close.
Yeah,
from
30
winning
was a
the
god.
game.
You're so good.
I'm just saying. If they win, what is the conversation going to do then? No, I'm just joking. But looking at the next game, especially, and I guess we don't get to because Champion Select is ready to go.
Get out of here, Lennon.
Guys, for the last game of the day, let's have some fun with it.
Bye, Lennon.
You know, Lennon saying let's have fun with it. I don't know. It's going to be pretty hard to live up to the fun that we just had in that last game. That was... Oh, man.
It might be hard to live up to the fun, but do you think the evil can live up to be enough? It's funny because enough is fun backwards.
Damn it, Josh. We're into our last game of the day, ladies and gentlemen. It is Evil Geniuses Academy versus TSM, where Josh is constantly trying to break me and make me lose composure, and he is succeeding at doing so multiple times throughout the day.
It's a good day.
Let's see if Evil Geniuses can make sure that they don't break their composure, as even though we know that the stakes are not, you know,
it's not that high.
It's not that high. Evil Geniuses still would like to play to win and build off of habits that will make them successful for a Proving Grounds run.
Yeah. And right now, Takeover, he got the Sylas as the first pick last game around, but this time going towards the Azir, something that he has been putting a lot more games into in summer than he has historically, and it gives them a little bit more opportunity to try and make these backline plays, right, where he can play as the pseudo marksman mage, the guy that always sits in the backline and doesn't necessarily have to go forward, but still gives him the option to. And Evil Geniuses are going to be responding with a similar style, right? They picked up the Zeri. Carry did pretty decently well during a lot of fights. He just doesn't have a whole lot of decisions on who he actually gets to hit, right? It's so hard to leverage those skill shots over and over onto the right targets during the fights.
Yeah, you saw the one time Cowrie went for a play where he's like, okay, I'm going to take control of the situation. Pew, 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 pew in the red buff quadrant. It's like, oh god, I don't do enough damage yet. I want immediately out. And has to flash away.
Yeah. And so already it's feeling as though Evil Geniuses are just like, yeah, I mean, we need to accept that we played the first part of the game much better than TSM. Now we need to actually try and leverage it. It's an execution issue, not just going to be a compositional issue. And of course, TSM have a very different composition, so it might become a compositional issue at some point. But right now, EG, they're creating a situation where they can do a lot of work kiting back once again. And I love this Alistar pickup into the Sivir. Do you know why?
Because no matter what you do with the spell shield, you will always get knocked up.
Exactly. Now, it is technically possible to spell shield flash, but at that point you should just pre-flashing anyway. So
yeah.
It doesn't end up mattering a whole lot. And now Smoothie, he will always have an opportunity to get on top of Mia. He can knock the Azir away. He can knock the Nautilus away. He has a lot more control over the fight as the Alistar than he did as the Lulu. And so Evil Geniuses have already picked a composition that allows them to make more plays, and that can really play into their hands.
For Evil Geniuses, they have banned away the Trundle, saying, you know what? We want to give Tomio something a little bit more in case Tomio is the one that racks up all the kills, because as both you and I are very familiar, you know, when a Trundle gets kills, it's like, okay, that's cool. His Divine Sunder comes online faster, but like, he's not a carry. He doesn't have, you know, the agency.
Unless he gets really fed.
Yeah, unless he gets like so fed, like he hits 2 items while everyone is still scrounging for scraps off of components. But like that, you know, normally doesn't happen. So I think Evil Genius is having the presence of mind. Like in case Tomio, we repeat the bot lane cycle where just constantly camping for kills, and it's Tomio that receives all of them. We want to make sure that he is on a pick that actually uses those resources more effectively.
Yeah, and already we're seeing as the Gnar ban comes through, a lot more attention is being paid towards the top lane, right? Both Soul and Surdy actually had great games in Game 1. And while I would argue that Soul was more standard in a lot of his plays, Surdy was definitely very clutch. He isolated a lot of duels. He found a lot of players individually. And even in the base, when he gets a pretty big shutdown onto Tactical, that was worthwhile as well.
Like the Wukong. Wukong having resources is pretty cool because your damage on Wukong actually becomes pretty substantial and you survive for very long periods of time. And Tomio will always now have a go button. He's like, if Tomio feels the engage is right, which, you know, he has had a pretty good sense in the past couple of weeks now leading up to it, then Tomio has the initiative to take these fights and lead the charge for EG.
Yeah. Now, the Viego coming through is a little bit surprising to me for Anda, right? They were already hovering the Udyr, which would create a very strong front line with a little bit more sticking power than the Viego will, but it allows them to get these resets. You already have enough damage, but it's not necessarily a ton of burst. And so, with that in mind, Soul now has to hover the champion that he wants to actually try and pick up. It was originally going to be the Gnar if it wasn't banned away, I believe. But the Yone, now that it is going to be locked in, is a bit of a challenge going into Surdy. What does Surdy want to play into this? Remember, he has one of the largest champion pools of anybody that's currently in Academy.
Surdy, what do you decide to reach down into and look for? No way.
He's done it before. Whoa, please?
Dude, that would be sick. It's aside from Azir, everyone is effectively short range. Okay, Jax is pretty cool.
Okay, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Darius would have been hype, but you know what? Jax pretty good and much more effective split pusher than Darius. Darius kind of really all in on the team fight aspect, but with Jax, now you have power if Evil Geniuses get Surdy the advantage in the early laning phase.
Yeah, and that is his 16th unique champion so far in Summer, as the Jax does get locked in. Now, I'll admit, this is a matchup I am not as familiar with, but the big thing tends to be whenever you have Jax going against these auto attackers, your first couple of levels tend to be really strong, and then you kind of get gapped for a little while because you only really have like 2 real abilities, and one of them is very straightforward, right? Just your leap strike, you're going to be jumping onto somebody, just hitting them as your movement ability. And unless you can stat check them, you tend to not have a great time. And I think Jack should be able to stat check this one, but I'll have to defer to some of the other analysts as I am not very good at either of these characters.
It's okay, Josh. You know, you can only play
I'm
and
working on
master
it.
so many champions at a time. But for us, this is our last game of the day. Evil Geniuses Academy taking on TSM Academy one last time this week and this season. For TSM, they can clean out a 2-0. Good and huge morale boost to continue building on the habits that they are establishing for Proving Grounds. Whereas for Evil Geniuses, let's see if they can run back the early advantages they got through the bottom side of the map and close out with better execution.
Yeah, already going for a bit of skirmishing, but not a whole lot of real trades back and forth. And Soul, that's so confident, man. Just like walking up and challenging Surdy.
Yeah, you're not gonna jump on me. Because I think Surdy would prefer to go for, what, Counter-Strike level 1?
Yeah, in general, right? You do want to use that because, okay, so one of the important interactions about both Yasuo and Yone, at least this used to be true, I'm pretty sure it's still true, is that the first target that you hit with your Q counts as an on-hit target, right? Which means that it's blocked by Counter-Strike. But if you hit something closer to you, like a minion, everything beyond that doesn't count as on hit, and so it
it's a
won't
spell.
be blocked.
Interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't proc the same way.
Okay.
And this was a big reason why Yasuo was at least a little playable into Jax for a long time. He missed? Come on, man. Echo missed the first part of the queue.
Maybe if he was serving up pizza, it would have landed true.
Yeah, it's the wrong skin.
Unlucky.
That's what it is.
Skin diff.
Yeah.
Evil Geniuses are not tangling with TSM for that all-in that we saw in Game 1.
Going to be a little bit quieter, so we can kind of take a look at where our junglers are. And immediately going for 2 cams mid, and then going towards the top side of the Rift. Goes for just a ward.
Oh, level 2 all in between the bot laners once again. Smoothly burning down sub 200 HP. Good dredge line from Mia. A flash away, but it's Tactical flashing forward. And Kara just does not have nearly as much damage as Tactical and Mia do to be able to fight back.
Yeah, crazy stuff coming through. The changes to Sivir actually making a world of difference in that fight. That's not often that you see it matter early on, but they are pressing their advantage. They are trying to find these fights, and they already find a 2v2 going in favor of Tactical and Mia, and now and Antomio encountering each other.
Surdy looking forward, but being able to disengage before Anda comes in and collapses. But the fact that Anda is the first one towards that choke point, Tomio cannot walk in and contest. He would have to play off Soligo, who is currently getting pushed in. Mia, oh, they're using the proactivity of the roam after the bottom lanes all in. And now that gets a flash out of Soligo. Surdy. Soul still has flash here. And that's okay. That's a flash out of Soul.
Yeah, there we go. This matchup starting to come alive, right? Huge wave already built up by Surdy, and Anda announces his presence, but Surdy's not that worried.
Dude, I wonder if Surdy just flashes for Soul instead. There's no... Okay,
yeah,
Counter-Strike.
Oh,
wow,
okay.
Surdy, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, he was waiting to see if Soul would overextend because he knew he could turn it right. Leap Strike into the W, instantly one-shots him. Q auto W reset. Instantly kills Soul, and so Soul will have to reset, and Surdy standing his ground and allowing Soligo and Tomio and Smoothie to walk in and take away this blue buff. It's not typical that Anda's the one who ends up losing a lot of his camps because he's trying to make plays happen early on. That's typically something that we saw from Tomio, right? Tomio go over so many camps last game.
Yeah, and it's all the benefit thanks to Surdy's play. And building up and stacking up a huge wave, getting the Summoner Advantage spell. Yes, Anda comes in with a decent health advantage over Surdy, but because of that huge minion wave, you don't want to fight Surdy in there, and he still has Counter-Strike available, as you already called out. And the fact that he's able to push in that wave, Soul misses out on quite a bit of experience before he's forced to teleport back. And now this has created a kind of a chain effect to offset some of the early advantage that Tactical and Mia got on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, and Soul forcing himself to go with a second Doran's Blade in order to try and contest the next couple of levels. And he's already got Mia coming up towards the top side, trying to make a play happen. Mia shouldn't have been spotted, but the wave is so big that I don't think they have an opportunity to really go for a dive. They don't have enough damage.
It would have to be a Hex Flash engage from Mia. The wall's looking a little too thick, though, to jump over, and Surdy has enough defensive tools, still has Flash to disengage. So it's just to make sure that Soul gets the wave push in, and Mia will return more than likely to the bottom side of the map.
As he moves back to the bottom side. Thing that we always got to remember, right? Sivir and Azir will scale very, very well. They actually have a fair amount of agency in who they get to hit because they both have such long range, but they're also fairly target agnostic. They can kind of hit whoever they want. And Tactical, as long as he's not losing this early lane, Sivir will scale very similarly to Zarya in terms of how much damage you do. And you do it in fairly similar context, right? They both want to be fighting defensively through a choke point. They both want the opponents to have to get choked out, and they're trying to come up with a good way to tie Avril into that, but
No.
we'll have to figure that out for the rest of Proving
Evil
Grounds.
Geniuses on the Dragon. Boom. Transition out of that one.
Boom.
And TSM
Segue.
Academy doesn't seem like they have any idea. Smoothie was able to walk on over as well. TSM don't have a response. The first Dragon going over to Evil Geniuses, and they can return their strength towards the top side of the map, but Smoothie getting called out, doesn't have flash. Good dredge line, just right on the tip, and Smoothie is run down, and Surdy looking for a good solo kill from the top laner.
Yeah, Surdy turning this one around. Soul had his number a little bit in the solo kills previously, but this time Surdy, he gets near solo kill before. He turns around the gank, preventing Enda from pushing him out of the lane. Now he finds a solo kill, up 20 CS. Surdy, we haven't seen him play this champion so far this summer, but look at all the minions they're about to lose. Looking to see the whole thing, and Surdy, ooh, I love it. Just following up Soul, making sure that he goes down to the counter-strike, and by saving it, using the Q, the empowered auto attack, you can't dodge those.
And the lethal tempo stacking up as well gives Jax such a unforgiving all-in power over the Yone in the all-in, because once you hit level 6, you get the stack up damage on the third hit, and then plus the passive already giving you increased attack speed as you go in for further trades. Oh man, it is just within like a couple seconds, Jax goes from like bonking slowly to boom, 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 like just
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, like a rabbit, bro.
And I'm actually very impressed with Surdy, right? You know, there's the meme last split, I am stability. You know, this split, he said that I'm the second best top laner, and the best top laner is just more consistent. This is a very consistent, strong performance from him thus far, even though his first laning phase left a little bit to be desired. Now he's got the wave coming back towards him. He can freeze Soul off the wave, and it will create a lot of pressure on Soul to try and make things happen. You will have to continue to see players like Anda and Mia coming top to allow Soul to actually crash these minions.
And Tomio is already on this side of the map. He can look to shadow Surdy, or even make a play. He is level 6. Cyclone is available. Soligo is hanging on around. But more than anything, the ultimate end goal is to leverage the pressure that Surdy has, just so that they can get this Rift Herald. It's spotted out, though, because there was a control ward, but looks like Evil Genius is undeterred at the moment, because Smoothie already in position to rotate on over. So TSM, their play is, let's dive the bot lane. Kaori is left to his own devices, but he still has sums, and he walks on out, collecting the last wave.
And as the Rift Herald gets picked up, Soul trying to steal it.
No way, right?
Yeah, there's no way. Oh, he goes back.
Oh, and Tomio says, I want to get a kill on this guy. Fate Sealed only buys him so much distance. Oh, okay, Soul gets out, and that resets the Rift Herald. Do TSM have enough time to collapse in? No, they're still hampered on going for this bot lane dive, but Smoothie is here, and he can protect Kaori.
Yeah, and Soligo shifting over to try and protect, but he will not protect the blue buff. And so Tomio goes right on back to the Rift Herald, but Soul, he commits his flash, but he stops the Rift Herald. He buys a lot of time, end up picking up at least 2 camps, maybe also the Gromp, and Kaori and Smoothie forced to move away, because it's not Evil Geniuses making plays towards the bottom side this time. Instead, it is TSM creating a lot of pressure, and 1,000 gold already the lead of Tactical over Kaori.
But then you look on the flip side of the top lane matchup. In fact, Josh, we have actually shifted attentions from TSM and Evil Geniuses of where they focus. Tomio is playing towards the top side and certainly gaining a massive advantage, whereas TSM now playing for the benefit of Tactical and Mia. Tomio was looking for a little bit more off of the blue buff, but Takeover and Soul say, no, that belongs to Anda. You cannot have the blue buff. You already got the
Control
Rift Herald.
jungling.
Stop being greedy.
Oh!
Good flash from Soligo.
Yeah, Takeover just a little bit slow on the Emperor's Divide, and now Soul gets stunned up. Oh!
Dodging out. Oh, Surdy is about to wind him down, send him back to the fountain. This matchup is unforgiving, Josh, and now...
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yep.
I mean, I was going to praise Soul earlier for his good usages of the Soul Unbound, right? His ability to create space away from the Counter-Strike, but he went the wrong direction there at the wrong time. Surdy's not going to let him get away with that, and Anda trying to stick around, but... I mean, this turret is just going to die.
Yeah, Fate Sealed is also not available for Soul quite yet on time, so Ando is going to be very hopeful on this play onto Surdy, looking for the Heartbreaker, but Surdy flashes away. Tomio looking to buy space with the Cyclone. Soul, can he get the cooldown off time? There's the Fate Seal.
Okay!
And get down Surdy through thick and thin. It seemed like a lot to invest, but they got what they wanted.
Get it. They got what they came for. They got the kill. They got the shutdown onto Soul. It doesn't solve their problems. But the gold across the board is still even, right? We're in another one of those classic arms races where 1,600 gold, Surdy over Soul, but in the bottom lane, still about 1,000. But also, in the mid lane, we've been seeing Takeover kind of pushing around Soligo rather heavily in this Azir versus Ryze, creating a lot of space. And Takeover, he's been a pretty good laner so far throughout the summer split. Not quite as strong as players like Harry, but consistently doing rather well and doing slightly better than what we would typically expect in the matchup.
We're getting ready for the second dragon of the game. Evil Geniuses, not necessarily the first ones here to the play. Tactical and Mia creating space and getting vision control settled down. Because they are split up, it allows the two-man duo of Surdy and Tomio, who, with Surdy to the party, this changes things up a bit. Soul doesn't have teleport, so it would be a massive advantage numbers-wise for Evil Geniuses.
He's already on the Trinity Force as well, one of the more expensive mythics, and Evil Geniuses just going to be picking this up rather cleanly. Surdy can teleport back to the top lane if he wants to, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Deny Soul opportunities.
He's on a ward! Ooh.
Ooh.
I thought Takeover was going to commit a shuffle right there.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Mia was going to land his dredge line.
We both were wrong.
Unlucky. Now, I mean, Mia's had some good dredge lines this game. Don't get me wrong. That was just the one where he ends up being a little bit short. And now I imagine the bottom lane should be going down. Carrying Smoothie already giving it up and giving the solo gold right on over to Tactical. He was the star, the clutch player, the person who came up with the big win at the very end. And they continue to have a small lead. It's, you know, this game hasn't been quite as explosive, but Soul probably going down again.
Oh, Soul, no flash available either. 3 people committed to the play, and that opens up Surdy to unlock more turrets. Okay, not quite yet. There's 4 people here, but Mia will defend the turret with their life. And it looks like that will give TSM time to recuperate. We don't have an objective for quite some time here. I think Rift Herald is spawning, what is it, 2 minutes from now? 3 minutes from now?
I don't remember.
Unlucky.
But, you know, it's probably about 2 minutes, right? It's definitely not less than 1 minute because we would have seen the little hourglass. But Evil Geniuses, right, they did a decent job at setting things up and helping Surdy to build up this lead. But this is oftentimes when Evil Geniuses kind of stall out. They're not quite as good at creating game plans. Now, 100 Thieves, we make the same criticism of them, but their game plan is very simple. Everybody just show up to the dragon when it spawns, like on spawn, and we'll just outhands them from there. Evil Geniuses, it's not obvious to me that they are a better mechanical team or just better at team fights than TSM, so I'd like to see them be a bit more proactive, right? It was typically Evil Geniuses who had to, you know, retake after TSM overextended last game, and so Evil Geniuses, if they just get there first, their kiteback composition will look fantastic.
And they already have 2 dragons towards another Ocean Soul. And we know that with a kiteback composition, as you already called it out before, that gives them an edge to continuously stay alive in extended fights. Right now, TSM trying to leverage the advantage with the numbers that they have, putting Tactical in the mid lane with a Sivir that is this far ahead. You have so much control of just being able to shove in waves ruthlessly. And Cowrie, while he can get out alive, he has to cede control of the turret, and it could just go down. But Tomio says, no, we're going to defend the turret with our very lives, and Anna has no way out. Good CC chain from Evil Geniuses, punishing the jungler TSM.
Yeah, it's going to be a kill going over, but all these cooldowns will still be available, so it's just a little bit of gold getting picked up. And there we go. That's a good Soul Unbound to deny certain opportunities to counter-strike effectively. And this is that jiggle that you always got to do. It's not about the money, but it's about moving back and forth, left and right, trying to convince your opponent you're going to do something when you actually have no intention of doing so. But is Surdy strong enough to just go for this dive?
Yeah, Surdy. I'll play the jiggle. You got to fold Soul right back in your feet. You really got to see it.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Surdy do it. Right, just
Let's
go
go
underneath. He doesn't have the lifesteal just quite yet. Soul can't heal up a fair amount every single time that Surdy does leave him alone between the waves. About 1.5 minutes left before the next dragon. TSM gonna try and make something happen. Remember, they also love fighting defensively through choke points. And Tactical, with the way that Ricochet changes working at the same target multiple times, you can do a lot more damage if people are stacked on top of each other. There's a fair number of melee champs. Oh, well. No! Down! Bad Soul!
Tomio's like, I'm here, bro. I'm coming in. And Surdy's like, did I ask?
Duh.
I don't need you.
That is always the funniest thing when the jungler's like, hey, I'm going to come mid for a gank, and the laner's like, okay, cool, I'll start fighting now. Oh, I guess I didn't need you.
Sometimes the jungler comes just to make sure that the top laner or the mid laner just has the confidence to go
Just
for the play.
confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a confidence gank. I'm
like-
here, man. I will cheer for you. Oh, okay. Oh, I guess that was enough.
Yeah.
But I mean, on the real though, like just showing the jungler can do a lot to the opposing top laner because they're like, okay, well I have to hold a couple cooldowns and I can't use them anymore. But with that in mind, TSM are now going to try lining up Soul. Very weak. Very, very weak at this point. He's going to have to really struggle to try and find his way in. Doesn't have a mythic yet. Although I suppose neither does Soligo. But TSM, they need to take control of the choke points and choke them out. And allow Tactical to just take total control of this map.
And for Evil Geniuses, every time that they have getting ready for this dragon, instead of just putting Surdy onto a side lane and forcing TSM to choose between dragon or the split push, Surdy is being positioned here because he is just as strong to just team fight. Not like the most insane team fighter, but if he finds a Counter-Strike engage, like on the Soul right here, who tries to go for the Fate Seal, but gets caught in between Tomio. Surdy goes golden, buys a lot of time. The Realmore brings the rest of the cavalry for Evil Geniuses, but they've already eliminated Tomio. Good divide, but carries onto the back line. He's looking to round out Tactical here, and he's got the auto attacks, and he has shut down the marksman for TSM. Kaori can clean this one up if TSM stay too long in this jungle and has got nowhere else to run. And yes, they lost it on Tomio, but they take out 3.
And they're going to be getting the dragon as well. Even with Tomio going down, they pick up end. There's no threat of a smite, and Takeover and Tactical never able to set up their base of operations. They're never able to create this pocket. And Soul, again, ends up falling, but he's trying to find some space. I respect the fact that he's trying to do something. But as he comes over this wall, Tomio catches him out. They see Surdy hop the wall after him, and TSM, they immediately turn around. They give him control of the rest of the river. They allow Soligo and Kaori to just walk in unopposed. And while Soul keeps himself alive for a long time, Evil Geniuses, their backline is set up, and Takeover and Tactical only now have a bit of control, but they are immediately broken up because the wall doesn't keep Soligo out.
And for Evil Geniuses, Kaori gets to reap all the benefits as well, because all the major cooldowns from TSM have already been blown on Tomio and Surdy. And so Kaori finally gets to maneuver as he pleases, and getting the shutdown on the Tactical is so huge, because now he is caught right back up.
And Kaori, yeah, with the 2 kills, 2 assists, he's already got 2 items. He's on the same benchmarks that we are looking at Tactical. And TSM, right, this is kind of what we were looking at before. They are very good at creating pressure, but they sometimes overextend in these positions, right? Anda is moving them around, trying to take control, trying to consistently make sure the Evil Geniuses have to respect where TSM are. But last game, they had Soul who was able to match Surdy. That is not true this game.
And the fact that Surdy is so monstrously ahead, I think he's now 2,500 gold. He is putting Soul in a position where it's like, guys, I don't know if I can actually hold him off by myself. I'm doing my best. And the Evil Geniuses know that for a fact. Once again, it's another confidence gank. It's like, Surdy, I'm coming in just to clean up. He's like, all right, I'm going in for the kill. And then boom, just realizes that they didn't need him in the end. But you see on the other side of the map, TSM almost getting an inhibitor tower with the amount of attention that was put down towards the bottom side of the map. But if Surdy continues being leveraged like this, Josh, I mean, this is going to be a problem that TSM just do not have an answer for.
Yeah, they will not have an answer for quite a while. In fact, they might never have an answer because Soul on this Yone will not outscale the Jax, right? The problems that you have in this composition do not really get better over time. Evil Genius is very happy to leave Surdy alone in the side lanes, and just as we saw last game, even though you have 3 dragons to Ocean Soul, you can give it up, right? If you can get more on the map than the Ocean Soul would give you, or rather that the first Ocean Dragon would give your opponents, then it's absolutely a-okay to just go take down another structure, open up the base of TSM. And Evil Geniuses, as I start to create a little bit more pressure on the board, remember, it was TSM that was trying to make the play on the top side of the map. They were bringing 4 members up there. They had the Herald ready to go. They're still trying to do things, and the goal being as even as it is, we have to remember how concentrated it is into Surdy.
He's got two items already. He's looking for his 3rd. Soul just barely completed a shield bow. And that shield bow is only going to do so much for you, Soul. I'm so sorry, friend. But Surdy is a big monster right now. The way that Evil Geniuses have been using his pressure has been great. The fact that TSM are able to answer on the other side of the map is what is keeping TSM from falling behind.
Exactly. So it's on tactical, right? It was very clutch done last game to gale force forward and get the damage across to override even the power of the Ocean Soul. But Evil Geniuses, you know, it's way easier to do that on Xayah where you are more safe. You have the ultimate to just go intangible for a moment than it is to be able to do it on Sivir. You're much more reliant on your positioning during these team fights. And when you try and go forward like that on the Sivir without a gale force, you are going to become hittable by both Kairi and Celigo. Celigo can still just root you down, and it's pretty darn difficult to actually get a spell shield off when you are that close to that many different threats.
Oh, Serdi, what you trying to do? Where you going?
Willis.
Oh, this is such a good collapse. Counter-Strike available. Tomio flashing in for the Cyclone. Can he get in range? Can he look for the stun? Mia is the first one that will potentially fall. Goes golden with the stopwatch, but no way out of that one. Numbers advantage over to Evil Geniuses Academy. 40 seconds before the fourth dragon spawns and could be EG's Ocean Soul to claim.
Yeah, 2 ultimates were used for that, but Tomio's will not be back up. Celigo's doesn't really matter, but now Evil Genius is trying to find their way onto another player. They're trying to look at Takeover, who's already level 15 in this game. 257 CS at less than 23 minutes, but it's not going to matter. All the gold in the world will not save you if you cannot make a play. Mia just now coming out of base, and Serdi back to his same old pushing ways.
Leveraging a huge wave in the bottom side of the map. Coming in for the collapse. Soul has to give ground. Mia will be arriving to the party a little late. It's a 3-man core here from TSM at first. And Evil Geniuses are starting to hit, but look where Smoothie is positioned. He's ready for the flank, but a teleport is coming in from, it looks like, Soul. He's looking for the back line entrance here. Serdi has been stunned up, is focused down, but Ocean Dragon has already been claimed, and it's the Soul that is awarded over to Evil Geniuses, and they've turned tail right onto Soul. The rest of TSM cannot re-engage because they cannot get through Smoothie, and Soul had a nice idea to look for the flank, but TSM cannot follow up. Evil Geniuses get the Soul and get a kill to top it off.
In general, the idea from TSM is right. You turn onto the flanker, you just kill them before they become a threat. But Serdi's too strong, right? He does not die in the onslaught coming through for TSM. TSM just have to watch as the Ocean Soul goes down, and I thought it was the death knell last game, but it definitely should be the death of them here. They don't have the damage to burst any individual targets. They haven't been going for plays. And look, as they turn on, you have 4 people starting to hit Serdi, but he just hops out over the wall. Smoothie comes in from the backside, and even though Takeover, it's a fair amount of damage off in this fight, who cares? None of them die. It's only Soul that goes down as Evil Genius are finally like, oh yeah, I guess we should deal with this.
Oh, you're still here?
Oh,
okay.
Huh.
Someone bring out the fly swatter real quick.
Oh.
Good clone usage from Tomio. Dodges out what could have been a disastrous pick. And Serdi, as you said before, is back to the split pushing ways, and with an Ocean Soul in his back pocket, I think it is just too difficult for Soul to just deal with him in the 1v1. Tactical is called on just to be able to wave clear.
I mean, Tactical doesn't do that much to Soul, or that much to Serdi at this point, right? This is definitely one of those games where, you know, Soul just has to be like, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I screwed up. And the rest of the team is like, that's okay. Sometimes it happens. Who else can make plays? Takeover. It's your turn. Right? You're the developmental piece.
I choose you.
I choose you. You know, it was Soul's weakness. He's taking double damage from Serdi's Jax. But now Takeover is the one who needs to try and make some plays because Mia hasn't been able to find his way in. And, you know, you've played enough Viego to know that, like, you're not supposed to be the first person who tries to go in. You're trying to play in from these flanks.
Oh no, Tactical, you're in a bad spot, and just like you called it before, Josh, you cannot spell shield the knockup. Gets the flash out and the other summoner spell. Celigo flashing over the wall, cannot find Tactical, but Serdi will be not deterred as he lays down his wrath like a flaming hot pipe and takes out 2.
The Evil Geniuses, they just come around the back, and now they're poised to take the Baron 26 minutes into the game, and Enda's like, I would like some of this honey fruit, please, but even that is being denied by Serdi as Evil Geniuses, they take control. TSM Oh God.
Dude, Surdy is in a one-man mission. He is looking to take out Takeover in the middle of 3, flashing forward. Surdy, you absolute Chad! Look at him go! That's Jet freaking Joy, baby! Killing it on the Jax.
Comes in 1v3, kills one and leaves? That's not okay. Surdy ending up finding a 1v3 against Azir and Yone, and I don't even remember what the other one was. Was it Anda? Yeah, it has to have been Anda. They're trying to do something, and he just like, yeah, auto text, that's cool. I got a Frozen Heart. I got Counter-Strike. You can't do any damage to me. They have so much control, and now Evil Geniuses with the Baron, with the Ocean Soul, we're looking to head to a 1-1 series.
Evil Geniuses have all the dominoes lined up to be ready to knock down for the close of this game. TSM blinking on life support. They have one last play, Josh, and it is to stall the game long enough to go for an Elder flip. Maybe you can pivot off of Takeover and Tactical. And you know what? We're no strangers to that. TSM have been able to do it before. They took down Evil Geniuses in an Ocean Soul in the prior game. I am inclined to believe that it would not happen again, but we shall see.
Yeah, there's only 3 levels for Surdy over Soul. Soul still can be a crowd control bot. He gets one big ultimate. Get him.
All right, 3, 4 people dedicated to the Surdy kill squad. Will they succeed? Counter-Strike, gone. Surdy hopping around, buying as much time as he can. And they eventually take him down. Oh my God, he took out 50% HP of Takeover. Now I got a recall because Evil Geniuses, they're storming down the base. Surdy giving his life for Ire, the cause, and allowing Evil Geniuses to storm down the defenses. And they get one inhibitor for the death of Surdy.
Yeah, I guarantee as Surdy, as soon as he sees 4 people, he's like, what the hell? What are they doing here? Just take their base.
Okay. Fate sealed. Soligo answers back with a good stopwatch time. Smoothie fires back, throwing out some crowd control. Dredge line from Mia connects. Smoothie is forced to use the unbreakable. Gets the damage reduction, tries to walk out. Takeover wants the poundish, but Tomio is too quick with the clone. Dodges on out. And the rest of TSM are trying to push back, but it's so damn hard to do against a Baron Wave minion.
There's no way. There's no way TSM get another Elder Dragon, right? There's no way, Mark. We're not just recycling the same script, are we? Surdy gets monstrously ahead, and it doesn't matter because Evil Geniuses aren't able to secure the Elder Dragon. They already have the Ocean. Evil Geniuses just need to show up, right? They just need to be here and prevent TSM from walking in.
Josh, the Evil Geniuses fans are going to hate you afterwards because you're kind of hashtagging live evil with the curse that you're setting up, but they need to.
There's no way. There's no way TSM come back from an 0-2.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! I'm getting bad juju, getting bad vibes from this right now. For the sake of Evil Geniuses fans, they need this dub. TSM already got one. Let Evil Geniuses have something, Josh.
Okay, well now, as I start to come in, Evil Geniuses have control of the Rift. Where's Surdy on the flank again? Yeah, he's bottom lane. He's getting the pushing going.
Tomio gets his clone engaged on TSM. Bunch up as 5, you can see Smoothie looking for the deep flank once again. And a recall is coming out because someone has to answer Surdy at the base. They don't stop the recall. Soul is the one that goes over. They collapse onto Smoothie, but the rest of Evil Geniuses say, go, Smoothie, go. Distract him with your face. They will go for the Elder Dragon, and Surdy is on the Nexus, looking for the Nexus towers. The comes in.
No way!
The Elder Dragon! How does this happen? Evil Geniuses, they just have to buy time, but Soul now has an edge potentially against Surdy. If he can get some damage combined with the towers, maybe he can execute Surdy, but Surdy is still hella strong, and he realizes he can't go for the end. He's gonna try to kill Soul before the rest of the members of TSM come in through, but with the Elder Dragon execute, they can lock down Surdy. He gets a counter-strike out. He's looking to leap strike away, but he is taken out through all in vain. Evil Geniuses, they have unlocked 2 inhibitors. They've taken out 1 Nexus turret, but the game is still not over.
The Elder Dragon getting stolen by Anda at the end of that, right? Just setting everything up, but it's not enough. Even the Elder Dragon has not been enough. 2 members fall for TSM. Tactical and Mia die trying to defend the mid lane inhibitor. You saw that even while Surdy was hitting the bottom lane inhibitor, Soul was like, nah, I'm going to go top lane. I'm going to go clear this wave. I don't want any of that. But Anda, as he comes in, he just charges right on in. Soligo and Kaori can do nothing to stop him.
Oh, man. heroic efforts from TSM. Trust in their jungler to smite steal it, and they throw everything. Mia tries to do all possible to keep Tomio stunned up. Even Tactical throws in a large boomerang as well, and now we're here, Josh.
Now we're here.
Evil Geniuses fans are coming after you. I'm just letting you know. You
okay.
did this.
First I get dodged, and now it is.
Yeah. Well, TSM fans rejoicing. Absolutely elated to see that TSM are still in this game, still sticking it to Evil Geniuses, despite the massive advantage that they have pivoted off of Surdy, off of this massive dragon lead. But the Elder Dragon is not temporary, or is not permanent, Josh. It is only temporary, so Evil Geniuses just have to play the waiting game and potentially finish out the game much later than they would have expected. Yeah,
20 seconds left for TSM, 15 seconds, and then it's gone, and the Baron buff will be spawning in just a moment. Saligo down in the bottom lane. Surdy, he's not actually going for a split just quite yet, right? He feels a lot more confident he can actually just take this fight, and 3 seconds left on the Elder. TSM not going to be able to find a fight in time, and Smoothie trying to find his flank. Surdy trying to find his flank. It's Saligo.
He wants Tactical to step up. He's looking for a channeling the Hex Flash. Takeover looks for a shuffle of his own, but he's found eyes on a Tactical, and Calories right there on the same page. He looks for the marksman. They take out the marksman, and Calorie just gets the cleanup for free. Surdy in there with the backlines. He's already teleporting in to end the game. Evil Geniuses. It got a little dicey after the Elder Dragon steal by TSM, but lo and behold, Evil Geniuses, through thick and thin, a quadra kill to wrap it up for Calorie, and they will end this series tied up.
Even though they're not going to be able to make top 6, Evil Geniuses fighting back, the resilience to continue playing after the 40-minute game that started off this series and come back and play another long one. Surdy running directly into the fountain, but he can walk away with this, rather happy with his performance. He played so well in game 1. He absolutely demolished Soul in game 2, and Surdy, Jet Joy coming through, looking pretty darn good, coming back in with a vengeance and not being willing to repeat the run that Evil Geniuses had in spring.
And the thing for Surdy's character that you absolutely cannot help but admire is that he always finds something in his play that he is just self-critical of. And sometimes it's sad because we're like, dude, you won a game. You played absolutely phenomenally, and he'll still be like, no,
yeah, I could have done better.
If I could have done this. And this is someone that, you know, in spring when he first came in, I was definitely on the fence of how well he would pan out as a prospect, but by the end of the academy season, I want to root so badly for this guy because I just find his work ethic and his determination to be so inspiring and so admirable. So for us here on the desk, we are closing out the rest of the series, but we still got an interview with Evil Geniuses, so make sure you stick around. Mazel will be on the interview desk with them.
Welcome back, everyone. Here we're with the Verizon post-game interview, and I've got the one, the only, the Jet freaking Joy, Surdy for top lane of Evil Geniuses Academy. Man, you're popping off in that second game, but I want to take a step back from this series today and talk a little bit about the season as a whole. Right, we're getting towards the end of the regular season, at least. We're looking at proving grounds coming up. Do you feel like you've taken any big steps in your personal development through this whole split?
Yeah, I definitely do. In regards to more communication aspect of the game and just generally my play, I don't really know what's been happening for the last week because I've been making mistakes that I don't normally make. I guess I don't really have an answer for why that's happening, but I'm glad that I'm getting it out of the way now than later on, at the very least.
Hey, you got to make the PG run, baby.
Yep.
But it was really exciting to see you pull out all the stops, it felt like today. Game 1, obviously a little bit of frustration there. You were so close to ending it, but I want to talk more so about Game 2. Talk a little bit about the Jax. How do you feel about the pick? Do you just feel confident, strong on the pick going into it? And then we'll talk a little bit more after that.
It's not something that I practiced the most, like, recently, but I know that it is really difficult for Yone to play into it, and it also just happened to, like, they had 4 auto attackers. I kind of include Azir in that, so my E just makes me invulnerable in the middle of team fights.
And we saw that play out really well for you.
Yeah, it's pretty
Not
broken.
too shabby to finish it up. I do want to go back to something from game one, though. Joshi had some pretty fierce words about the Fiora pick from game one into the Gnar. I want to get your thoughts on that pick and why you kind of chose that into the matchup, because it was really interesting in the pre-show.
Okay, yeah, so Fiora beats Gnar if you go Conqueror and Gold Drinker instead of Grasp and Sunderer. The reason that I didn't was because, like I said, I haven't necessarily been very confident in my play recently. I've been making a lot of mistakes that I don't normally, and it's a higher level of execution that you need to pull off that playstyle. So I went for something safer, and the issue with the Grasp Sunderer playstyle is into most champs, after you have Sheen, you can just play the poke front vital and you win every trade like that. But into Gnar, because of how much move speed he has, he just chases you down and outtrades you really hard, so you don't actually have a winning trade pattern for like 7 minutes straight, and it's really painful to play.
Oof. That does not sound very fun to play.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's really,
I was hoping that I
interesting.
would be able to generate a bit more of a lead before that period to make it a little easier, but I wasn't able to, so I had to put some more respect onto Soul's name.
There you go. Hey, he had to come back in. He's having an interesting performance as well for this series. Talk about that a little bit. Do you have any thoughts on Soul? Do you have any thoughts on, especially just having faced him going into PG a little bit? Might be somebody you have to face further on down the line.
Yeah, he could be. It's hard for me to really comment because he has been in LCS recently. I haven't gotten to play versus him very much. When I was scrimming against TSM, it was solo. I think that he is pretty good fundamentally, and he notices a lot of all-in angles that other top laners will miss. Probably because he has that history of practicing on the Yone, and he's good at those kinds of extended trades. He's also really good mechanically, but I think like anybody else in Academy, we all have our aspects that we need to improve on, and one of those would probably be, from my perspective, champion pool issues on his side. But I could say the same for a lot of people, so...
True. That's something interesting to keep an eye out. Well, I don't want to keep you too much longer. I do want to get a look ahead. Just real quick, you'll be facing Cloud9 Academy tomorrow, and then I want to get your thoughts on Proving Grounds as a whole.
Okay. Well, yeah, we're versing C9 tomorrow. I was honestly more worried about TSM because I haven't gotten to verse their top laner and scrims and stuff, so I was worried he might pull out something that I wasn't necessarily expecting. Like they kind of did with picking Silas and Gnar, and that's my usual answer to it. So, but I think C9's going to be easy. Pretty much every single time we verse them, my bot lane just dumpsters them, and I dumpster top side of map.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Little parting gift for Darshan going to Proving Grounds. Do you have any thoughts for Proving Grounds as a whole in terms of competitiveness and your guys' potential run?
I think that we had a very weak showing near the start of the split where we were getting to kind of learn how to play with each other again. And at this point, I'm pretty sure that we are top 4 in Academy, like team strength-wise. I mean, we took TL to a 50-minute game, which we should have won, but we just made some mistakes. They got early games the best in Academy, and I don't think any amateur team is going to like really be able to play versus us. It's going to be really difficult for them, probably more so than any other team. I'm pretty sure you'll see us at the LAN part at the very least.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, man. I want to give you one last little bit. Give me shout-outs, anybody you want to talk about before I let you go.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess this is kind of unrelated to League, but it's me and my girlfriend's 6-month anniversary, and so just wanted to say happy anniversary and I love you.
Oh, Serty, I appreciate you so much, man. It's always a pleasure getting to chat with you. Please come back tomorrow ready for some games and get ready for PG, my dude.
Looking forward to hopefully another interview after we smash them.
Hey, let's see it. Let's see it. I'm going to go ahead and bring back Joshi and Rafa as I have them laughing in my ear right now. We got to talk a little bit more about Jet freaking Joy. Rafa,
yes,
I know you got some things to say.
King shit right there. I like it. Let's go.
That's
go.
2 in one day. All right.
That's 2 in one day. You're stepping on lines here, all right, Rafa?
For Serty, dude, I'll pop off about this guy. I have loved his arc this entire year.
Yeah.
And also, we need a couple name for him and Shubi. They are so adorable. We'll figure that out another time. But
6 months, that's so
Serbi?
nice. Oh, that makes me so
I don't
happy.
know. We'll figure it out a little bit later. But I just love listening to Jet like talk about League because you very clearly can tell like all the processes he's thinking through, right? Just
Yes.
like you have an auto-winning trade if you just hit the front vital every time, but Nar has too much move speed. So, but if I do this and this and that, if I go this build on the Fiora, I still have to execute quite well, but it is winning. And it's like, you can very clearly tell there's a lot of things going on in his mind. And
Yeah.
that's going to be the big thing. Like, he sounds very confident about his growth. I know he's going to continue growing because that kind of mindset, that kind of process-oriented thought process will allow you to grow very quickly.
It's going to be very interesting to see how his next year or so pans out, and especially his growth. Just talking to him about like that communication growth and stuff is something that we'll have to keep an eye on. PG. Also, he said top 4 in Academy. Got to see them in the land part of PG. So we'll see if that happens. I love the talk. But let's talk a little bit about going into Proving Grounds, a little bit about what we saw today, because we did have FlyQuest Academy, locking in that top 6 spot there. I think that was a very big moment, at least for FlyQuest Academy themselves. But besides that, we just had a lot of really fun games, guys. And Joshi, want to talk a little bit more about FlyQuest?
Yeah, I feel like FlyQuest, if they play like they did today, do have a real shot at having a deep run in Proving Grounds. And so what we always look at is, we have some good games from different players, right? We have moments of brilliance all the time. It's about finding that consistency. It needs to be, that's how you normally play all the time. And so with FlyQuest, we've seen some good games from Tomo. Today he played quite well. Yesterday he played quite well. Today he was bailed out quite a bit by Diamond. Maybe if they don't have the Tom Kench, he needs to be able to not make those same positioning understandings. Make sure that he can play it a little bit farther backwards. And so while we wait, if we get another day off of this, I'm starting to get on the FlyQuest train, but we gotta wait to see how they play tomorrow.
That's the FlyQuest train is just waiting to take off here at this point. Rafa, you have any thoughts about the day? Anything we saw here on B Stream?
Joshi stole all my FlyQuest thunder because I also wanted to give them praise. I think UG had some really, really solid plays of the map, played a very solid control game. I think, apart from the one really good read that Chad made playing towards Vital on the top side, it still was FlyQuest's favorite because they were at least always on the same page in terms of picking fights. And I think Immortals need to sit down and, whether it's for tomorrow's match or going into Proving Grounds in the play-in stage, they need to figure out a decisive system of okay, which call are they going to follow? Because there's multiple times where Arrow commits to a play and then the rest of the team bails out. And so it makes Arrow look bad, or Chad commits to a play and the rest of the team doesn't go forward and it makes Chad look bad. And the reality is they will look bad, but we don't know who is calling for the play. We don't know what is happening behind the scenes. And I don't think it's then fair to always criticize the one player. We'll look at a positioning mistake, but then at the end of the day, someone is calling for the play, and then either there's not a unified agreement of, yes, we will all 5 commit to this play, and even if it's bad, we will commit and just make the judgment call then, okay, was that a bad play or not? Because then if it's 50-50, you can never really make the assessment if it's a good play or not.
Yeah, that's very true.
Roth is being very generous.
Yes, he is being very generous. He's being very
I'm not that
political
generous.
with his wording. Yeah. We'll cut to the tomorrow schedule so we don't get anything else here on stream. But let's look at tomorrow's schedule because it is the final day of the regular season. Can't believe we're already here. But over on twitch.tv/academy, the A stream, we'll have CLG Academy versus FlyQuest Academy. Cloud9 Academy versus Evil Geniuses Academy. Hurt30, he's going to clap top lane, they're going to clap bot lane. Easy peasy. And then the final game will be TSM Academy versus Golden Guardians Academy. That'll be on twitch.tv/academy and on twitch.tv/PathLCS, where we're at right now. It'll be Team Liquid Academy versus 100 Thieves Academy. Bangers. And then we'll have Dignitas Academy versus Immortals Progressive Academy. See if Immortals can bounce back. But, gentlemen, I think it's about time for us to say our goodbyes because
Adieu.
there's another banger banger game happening on the other stream.
That's
so
right.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Joshi. Thank you, Rafa. Thank you to Esports Engine for an incredible regular season. This will be the last time I bid you all adieu for the regular season, but we'll see you all in Proving Grounds, and we'll see you over on twitch.tv/academy.